Hello, everyone, and welcome to a bit of WARNO League action, as it's Season 4 time, and we are here with the first game from the Season 3 time from Division 4, with a known name and a new name, and that is great, as Chlorite is joining me here again.
Hello, everybody. I cannot put to words how happy I am to be here again.
Yeah, and we will have a really cool matchup here with 3 codes in a trench coat versus Sequia, as we have Mnet versus 24th, and we all come here from Division 4. If we have a quick look in here, in Group A, that's our American group. Oh no, Group B, that is our American group. 5 players. You have to win 3 games or 2 games and a draw to get out of the group stage, basically. That's kind of how it works. If you're lucky, you can do it with 1 win and 3 draws, but that's basically the way out. And we have a prize pool for the top players, and that's already getting really hot. We nearly have $200 in again already. Thanks to everybody here for the big support already. Cam Warrior, Golden Panzer, Steven, and Bad Reki here coming in hot already. Getting us up to $178.50. All the claim code button getting us there as well. So WARNO League Season 3 starting really hot into the group stage already. And what do you say about the matchup here?
The matchup here, I personally like both of these divisions. It is, of course, the new multinational airborne division, the European NATO airborne formation, as well as the 24th Georgian 24th MEC, which is the American Mechanized Infantry Division that includes the Georgian National Guard and their amazing National Guards Bradleys. And I think on this map here, I dare to say that the M1 IP, despite being an excellent tank, may not be able to fight through the immense amounts of ATGM capacity that MNAD holds. MNAD is considered to be a weak airborne division right now because other airborne divisions are so incredibly powerful. But MNAD has some specific tools which include the larger amount of vehicles than other divisions, including a lot of ATGM vehicles, as well as just better support units. They have some pretty nice artillery, guided cluster mortars, and even a FSB-2 Darkfire anti-air rocket missile launchers. So they are not relegated to fighting with fighters and man-pads in the late game. But so far, if we're looking at this opener, we're seeing that our Canadian psychiatrist, Sequoia here, is kind of going full-on maximalism with not even investing into the light vehicles, but the recon light vehicles. The scimitars, the scorpions, all of them with mediocre stealth due to them being recon units, and then the pathfinders, the beefiest recon squads, 9-man special forces, 4 machine gun teams of British recon spec ops. And looking at this, we of course know that on Vertigo, the meta here is to go all in on the southern side because the top side is basically relegated to the player who has the better forward deployment opener. So we can see that 2 Pathfinders, 2 Engineers, including a Milan and a Mistral, might be a little bit too much. You could probably cut off maybe at least 2 of these squads and still hold the northern side just as well. There is also only a single Darkfire coming to the southern position, so a National Guard's Apache or even supported by a Strike Eagle and some recon helicopters could easily probably break through
Yeah, this
the
seems to be a
opener
cheesy
here.
opener. I wonder what the air will be. Though Strike Eagle doesn't have many targets here in this matchup. Like, the scimitars and so on, they're all not worth that much. So even if we see a Strike Eagle, I'm not so sure that that will be paying off unless it finds infantry stacked in one building.
Yeah, and looking at 3 cats in a trench coat, kind of a very peculiar opener here with a full-on mech blob. And I like doing a limited Abrams, IP Abrams attack when playing 24th. I find that the IP Abrams is controllable and cheap enough that you can kind of fast move it and micro it, and it's got the 50 cal, so it does good HE damage, and it's really accurate. It's got good armor. You can do a lot of it in the early game, but I believe it is important to have a front line from behind which the Abrams can move back to. Right now, all of the eggs are in the same basket. If the Abrams attack does not succeed, if the Abramses get stuck, if they trade badly, and that's not going to be the case against the Scimitars and the Scorpions, considering none of them have any anti-tank penetrating weapons. But Sequoia has already figured out that there is nothing stopping him in Alpha, and if he's smart, he'll try and push to India as well. And spotting this tank attack here should be the signal to immediately move everywhere else. Law of WARNO dynamics, unit concentrations are accompanied with unit diffusions. And the unit diffusion right now is that there is nothing here except the blob.
Yeah, the Pathfinders here getting shredded by the blob. The Scimitars, they will have a rough time here as well on this range. They need to move again. Sequire currently getting reinforcements in, but not handling the situation on the front line that amazingly. The Scimitars could have pushed further as well. They now rotate to the side, and Sequire is giving this more room than it deserves. And that is a problem, because the blob here already started killing a decent amount of points. It already starts to get cost efficient here. And you shouldn't allow this Wrecking Ball to actually get value. Side shot with the Pathfinder or not working out. Cluster Bomber gets the Bradleys, gets a good damage on the Abrams. It is not a one-shot Cluster Bomber. It's a really cheap one, but it doesn't quite one-shot Abrams. So both of the Abrams survive, but they are pretty stressed out. Supply trucks coming around, and 3 cats in a trench coat brings out more Bradleys here.
Yeah, the Mistral and Darkfire managed to take out a Phantom, which is nice. The Strike Eagle coming straight back. I think the Strike Eagle might be... Yeah, the Strike Eagle, I believe, is trying to... No, it's not trying to target the Darkfire. Actually targets the empty area. Maybe the Darkfire can tag it. Did not succeed here. Immediately looking at the Sequoia's MNAD play, the strength of MNAD is the ability to send really fast vehicles with anti-tank weapons. They have the 120 kph LSV, the British equivalent to the American Dune buggy that they have in 9th. And you could send that thing to go alongside your Scorpions. The fact that there was so much investment into the soft attack and no... for instance, you take the Milan, you send in 2 special forces squads to take the middle. And the middle is very powerful if you have recon and anti-tank weapons there. But there are no anti-tank weapons. And right now, 3 Cats in a Trench Coat has been so scared that they haven't even moved through it. But there could be Milan once, there could be 65-point striker vehicles. The PA-1 helicopters are going out there now and challenging this Phantom. Darkfire taking another amazing hit on the Phantom, and but yeah, I think that early...
Ooh. Yeah, Phantom goes down, and yeah, F-16 coming in from the other side. Strike Eagle, if that goes down, that would be really big. Kiowa got killed off. Another cluster bomber coming around. Sequilla invested way too much into the northern town. Like, there is a kind of paradox that if the better your forward deploy is, the less you need to invest up there, because the enemy can't really challenge you anyway, like realistically. So you actually only need to invest 1 or 2 units if you have the forward deploy advantage to secure the whole town. Investing heavily into the northern town is not efficient on this map because the usual fight is in the south. And if you invest that heavily into the north, you miss crucial tools like ATGMs and so on in the south. Like 1 TOW 2 Weasel here in the south would have made amazing work already out of this whole scenario. Without it, the whole situation is not as great. And that massive investment in the north, nobody is going to challenge MNET in that town. realistically. Like, you just can't fight them there. So investing that much into it early on is just really inefficient.
Yeah, immediately when Sequoia got all of that ground and managed to drive through Alpha to Alpha, that should have been the moment that they immediately buy 100 kph transported Milan 2s, the LSVs, everything. They should have just bought the ATMP Milan is also 100 kph and good stealth. They could have just coated and built this concave around when they
Ooh, that
realized
cluster
they were
was
either
really
blockable.
good. Killing off the CV,
Oh, that's true.
killing off an M1 IP next to it as well, and killing off one Bradley, I believe, too. Like, I think that was a triple kill, so really good show for that cluster bomber. The AA here on the side of 24th, not up yet. Chaparral's coming in now. Sequila needs to get the most northern zone as well to get to a +2 take. The Gurkha rifle leader is slowly moving up there. Unfortunately, sold the transport of that thing, so it can only move there slowly. But the southern situation here, not great. All the scimitars are dead. So, and there's no real infantry in front of the now brought up infantry. The cluster bomber here coming in again. Once more dealing good damage, but once more not getting the kill. If you want to kill tanks with it, you have to bring 2 at a time. And yeah, we have the scout Hellarm actually trying to get something done here. That would be interesting if that gets a hit. It is a pretty cheap ATGM helicopter, but it is a really terrible one at that as well.
But I like its attitude. I think it's cool. It's not really. I would love to fly one around in like a like the Grand Canyon or something, but I don't think it really fits the warfare here. I think a single LSV could have just driven to north and gotten the information. Single LSV, 2 recon squad, something like that. And I think this momentum, this transference of momentum from the forward deployment player to the tank blobber is, I think in like 5 minutes we're going to see a big attack come from 3 cats in a trench coat. They're not going to deal with this +2 for long, and this moment should be used in taking as many stealthy positions as possible, creating the greatest concave possible, buying out all of your Weasel Toe 2s, your Recon Parascouts, your Pathfinders. Just wait for them to come. At this point, any kind of engagement in which the MNAT troops go and show themselves, they risk getting hit, as the Mirage just risk getting hit by the Chaparrals. And fortunately, the ATGM net is building up here. And it seems like the 24th player is a bit scared. They are buying even more weaponry, 50 cal machine guns and mass, as well as more Bradleys. And it is going to be difficult for the Bradleys and the Abrams to push through a well-developed ATGM net from MNAT, especially if the concave formation is well done. But right now, I think Sequoia might be donating a little bit of points, sending in some of the Belgian paracommandos to walk under fire to pay for crimes of Belgium.
Yeah, this is not the way you play MNAT. Like, as MNAT, you want to have as many little small vehicles around as possible with a wall of ATGMs behind them. And the wall of ATGMs wasn't there. Like, paying the extra price for the recon scimitars and only bringing those around, like, that's paying a lot for the recon capabilities that don't multiply. Like, 4 recon units don't see 4 times as good, they just see the same. And you pay extra for all of that, and that extra could be giving you an ATGM vehicle. The northern investment could have given some ATGM vehicles, and then the whole situation in the south would have been easily beatable. And then you get that massive plop of 10, 15, 20 light vehicles that just move around, and each of them cheaper than the enemy light vehicles or tanks. So you can trade them 1-to-1 easily, and you just try to do that and win the game that way. Like, that's kind of how you want to play MNAT, and that is not what Sequoia is doing here. And the infantry is not bad, but it is especially good if the enemy has to push into it. It's not amazing pushing out into any position, so using that aggressively is not going to work out on Vertigo especially.
Yeah, I also think the Paracommando RL is just worse than the British Paras. The camouflage cool factor is not worth not having the second machine gun and having the blinde side instead of the low 80. Now here we can see the Fireteam Dragon has actually managed to move behind, but I think Sequoia has spotted it, sending Para Scouts to intercept them. Now starting out with infantry and the machine guns, which is smart. You want to have your stealthier units go and make contact, and then your longer range units mass. That is the right way to do this, and so far, Three Cats in the Trench Coat seems to have figured out what's going on here. There are aircraft coming in, and the Strike Eagle even gets caught.
Yeah, the dark fires of 70% base accuracy are really scary, but the Wild Weasel gets one of them popped. The Mirage HE gets killed off as well, so both sides suffering some losses there. The Strike Eagle is a nice kill, but the Seed will get out, and the Mirage is a really expensive plane as well. It didn't get its value there with the bombing run, only getting a couple of infantry units.
no,
The Fireteam Dragon is about to get the Milan 2 team here on the hill as well. And yeah, we have a big plop of infantry, Bradleys, and tanks here now coming in. And Cluster Bomber will hit them once more, but once more won't kill them. And there is enough supply here for 3 Cats in the Trench Coat to get them back up. And this way it's not efficient, because supply costs you basically nothing outside of availability. So these units will get repaired for free, because you can then sell the supply truck. Meanwhile, that plane is a real loss of combat power in the long run, and that is gone now.
Yeah, the extra few minutes of the +2 tick is nice, certainly, but this is really there is so much demand here for massed ATGMs. And MNAD is the best division to build these concaves. These are the moments where MNAD excels, because MNAD can send in the Milan 2 armed 120 kph special forces cars. They could drive them from over the forest hills and to the southern hillside to provide both recon and damage. And this is I think this is simply just maybe a not really being in not really having enough experience with MNAD to recognize what it can actually do. It's MNAD here is being played more like a kind of a standard, less efficient way. The MNAD's infantry is not as peak as something like 35th or 82nd, but and its air isn't as good as most air divisions. And you really need to lean in with the light vehicle availability to actually get this going. And I don't think Sequoia really has it in his muscle memory yet.
Yeah, we see more engineers coming up. We see the cluster mortars and so on. All of that is nice if you are in the driver's seat. Nothing of that helps you when you are behind. And you need those light vehicles coming and pushing from the early game on to keep that going. And as I said, there was too much diversion into the north. There was too much diversion into infantry in the early game, and no ATGMs around to really contest the tanks and the Bradleys. You can't beat Bradleys, you can't beat tanks without ATGMs, so I'm not quite sure what the Scimitar opener tried to achieve there, because obviously 24th is going to have Bradleys. It's the most Bradley heavy division in the game, and it has a decent amount of M1 IPs and M1s as well, so trying to beat that with just autocannons, tough position to be in.
Yeah, and the Fireteam Dragon in the backlines here, shooting down the scout helicopter almost. The para scouts being not getting the order to start following. ATMP Milan might be getting a hit here. Might be getting this, and does actually get a Bradley, but there's just too much. There are more Bradleys coming right up. There are 2 tanks on the zone already, and now this is
all the infantry is driving too close there. They get out alive here, but yeah, that position here for Sequila is not a good one. We see more Paracommandos coming in, more Weasels as well. Mirage HE trying to get rid of the tanks. The mortars.
Oh,
The cluster mortars. Yeah, people underestimate them. They get the CV Abrams. The Mirage gets pushed back. They might get a supply
they
truck
might
here
get
as well.
the-
Not quite, but yeah, they are. When they are on target, they deal so much damage. It's quite nice.
There's currently just lack of recon with the parascouts are not on the top of the mountain, so they can't spot for this right now.
Yeah, they give the accurate shot, but they don't quite. Yeah, without the vision. There we go. This time around again on the M1IP. The mortar fire will come in here. Aim time is pretty good as well. Only the long trajectory, the long fire arc, means that it takes a lot of time for the projectiles to travel onto target. As we will
And
see
the
them coming
counter
in here
battery
now.
has already counter battery is zeroing in on the tightly bunched cluster mortars right now.
Yeah, but they get the M1IP and they get the ITO. So a bit of room here for pushing in again. But there comes the artillery and the cluster mortars are bunched up. So at least 2 of them will die here most likely. 1 might survive. But even that one could get killed off by an unfortunate side shot. And yeah, we now have Scorpions coming in. We have Krakatoas, which are not the best ATGM vehicle. Like, in my eyes, the weakest out of the bunch that you have access to in that division.
Yeah,
yes, they are cheap, but the TOW is not amazing. And the Kraka is a pretty weak vehicle as well. So the Weasel with TOW 2.
Yeah, for 90 kph, you can for basically the same price, you can get the 100 kph ATMP as well. I personally run 2 cards of the Weasels because the TOW 2 is best, and the Weasels still get good stealth, and they also get a machine gun, which ends up getting really handy.
Yeah, and if you want, you have a swing fire in that deck as well, which has a bit more pen as well.
I also run that. I also ran that one. That's really good.
Yeah, here comes the Krakatoa. And yeah, the infantry is pushing forward, but as I said, infantry not on this map can't do anything. Infantry in general not great on the offense, but especially bad on this map on the offense. So it's not really the way you win with MNET here. MNET really more mechanized division than people often realize. Like the infantry, the Gurkha rifles are amazing, but they're especially amazing in small niche engagements on the side, and you don't want to have that as your I do everything with that kind of unit. They are just doing their side hustle, and yeah, that's not what we see here. Now we have a decent amount of infantry on the other side. Bradley still holding out, as we have more Scimitars trying to come in. No tanks or anything on the other side. Blue side is setting up for a big push in the north, actually, with a CV, 4 Bradleys, and a Recon Bradley. So that's going to be interesting to see if that can break through the north. It should be able to, and then this game is most likely going to get pretty tough for Sequila. So hopefully they can hold on here a bit longer.
Yeah, Parascorpions are doing nice damage on the soft targets of the American forces here. There are 3 squads of Gurkha rifles that are moving to start doing a slow flank. I am afraid this slow flank may not be what's needed here. A fast flank, even if it's more risky, the Chinook is both fast and very survivable. So you can actually, especially the elite Chinooks, you can send them and do combat drops with them. The Gurkhas having the low 80s can insta-kill a bunch of heavy units if they go down. And the Gurkhas, as you said, they are good on the sidelines, largely because they will 1v1 every single squad in the game that is not like a Spetsnaz at Spetsnaz's best possible environment. A Strike Eagle coming in here now, and getting tagged once again. Dogfires are really carrying this.
Yeah, we see the Bradleys getting rid of the Paracommando though, so no time here for Sequia to get into the south just yet, and we have a Bradley, and yeah, CV push here now in the north. 4 Bradleys,
the Chinooks
infantry
to empty the Stinger. The Chinooks were sent to bait out the Stinger fire, so the last cluster plane can go and get a free kill.
Yeah, artillery
Right now
coming
we're
out
seeing up
here
north.
now as well from the side of Sequia with the old 105mm. While it's on the other side, we have the double M109. They could deal with that with counter battery. Weasel trying to push forward a bit as well, trying to get some territory. But the three coats now coming in with the real push in the north, killed off one infantry unit there already. And here we go, the fire team starting to unload with 5 Bradleys, 5 autocannons right behind that. And that most likely gonna swing the tick towards three coats unless Sequia can counter battery soon here in the south and get three coats out of the zone.
Yeah, the with all that time and all those resources, oh no, they can get the mat. Oh, that was an excellent clutch hit from the Falchimpala Milan too up north. But yeah, you have all of this ground. You have so much time. You have 20 minutes in the game. Just set up two light ATGM vehicles and a single recon squad, and they could have fought off that Bradley attack pretty well. The enemy would have had to use micro, support units, aircraft, whatever, to break through, or artillery to break through your ATGMs. But right now what happened was that the north was untouched since the very start, and leading these Bradleys to getting there basically for free, even if the Pathfinders are trading away with the Fighting Dragon now.
Yeah, we have back to a +1 here for Sequia actually. Sequia actually might overwhelm the situation itself now, as the push in the north is working out only pretty slowly. The Pathfinders and the Engineers, they're holding out nicely against Infantry. The Milan 2 did a good job. We have Bombers coming in as well. And Sequia not quite getting this captures in the south, but we have a surrender here. And
From who?
I
From
think
Three
it's
Cats in a
three
Trench Coat.
cats that surrendered here. Yeah, 3 cats surrendering. It was a bit early. The KD was 100% equal here. So 3 cats surrender. Like, that's those 60-point difference are unimportant. That's one infantry squad. So 3 cats surrendering at this point, a bit preemptive. Like, that's still 18 minutes in the game, with your division being the better late game division. So I don't like this one. But yeah, surrender here in the end, and Sequia goes up 1-0 in this series.
Yeah, the early on, I mean, I think both of these players kind of messed a lot in the early game. I think Three Cats in a Trench Coat chose to do the heavy tank blob opener because they were afraid of getting emnatted. They were afraid of sending their units all around the map. And hold on, I believe it's 65 points for the ATMP LML. But the yeah, I think they were afraid of getting LSV'd. They were afraid that the light vehicles would start appearing from the trees and the treetops. And so it was like an ultra conservative attempt to make sure that they would by no means start out the game trading badly. And I think that succeeded. And I think that opener was just quite very, very bad from Sequoia. But I think Sequoia managed to claw back with some really nice decision making and air game. They had both decent luck as well as pretty decent positioning with the ATGMs, even if the ATGM play never happened as fast or as decisively as we would have hoped for. The I think there was kind of too much infantry and too little anti-tank in the south to actually fight against 24th in the upcoming 10 minutes. I was ready to say that the Gurkha rifle, the 3 Gurkha rifles on the open ground pushing through would be killed on long range easily by the reinforcement 3 Abrams that were coming. But at that point, I think 3 Cats kind of felt overwhelmed, and they had also made bad investments into mass infantry, and the mass infantry was very easily countered by the light vehicles as well as the decent infantry of MNAT.
Yeah, but in the end, it still was super neutral. So the surrender came too early. Like, 3 coats in the trench coat had the artillery advantage out there that can get you through the game. Still had way more mechanized forces in the deck, most likely. We have a lot of Bradleys and so on, and Sequia already starting to run low on ATGMs there, most likely as well, as a good couple of them got sniped. So And with the artillery, you can clear the northern town. I don't think the air tab was looking so hot for 3 cats anymore, but neither was Sequias. Both lost a good amount there. So this just came a good bit too early. Yes, the 800 points advantage is annoying on Vertigo, but it's not unbeatable. You can get up to a +4 if relatively easy in the late game, either by capturing the rear zone or capturing all 4 center zones. And with that, you can pick that up quite quickly. So yeah, I hope 3 cats doesn't keep this, like, yeah, keeps on playing longer in future games, because this was a bit sad to see them getting disheartened here. I think, yeah, losing your M1s like that feels bad, but yeah, they didn't quite realize how much damage they actually dealt with artillery and so on, I think, and that their seed plane got the dark fires and so on. So that might have made it look worse for them than it actually was here.
Yeah, the MNAD, even though MNAD relies a lot on the light vehicle ATGM, and the light vehicles can be targeted by artillery pretty easily, especially on a small map such as this one. But the positive side is that you can just click them to move. They're pretty fast. Like your ATMPs, your weasels, they can just drive 50 meters that way, and they're going to be more or less immune to the artillery. And I think Sequoia should have kind of recognized that when they saw that tank blob, whatever plans they had for fighting it should have immediately gotten thrown to the trash, and they should have spent a whole like 3 minutes of income to just put a ATGM of some kind in every possible position, recon, snipers, if you have them, just in every possible position. Just make the southern area a hard target. And them not doing that, despite given the time, was the reason why the blue attack succeeded. And I think it was only I think you are correct that with more decisive more trust in the mech gameplay and kind of more decisive play from 3 cats, they could have won this easy. I think another thing here is that 3 cats in a trench coat invested a lot into air, and I think they were probably getting repeatedly very, very annoyed by the fact that their air anti-air was not performing as well as the very good anti-air of MNAD was, constantly tagging out the Strike Eagles.
Yeah, but that's what Darkfires are good for. It's the most accurate AA in the game. So that's exactly its one job. And yeah, with that said, guys, we're gonna be right back with game number 2. So don't you go anywhere. We're gonna be back with the second game of the series, as every game in League has, or every match has 2 games to it. And game number 2 coming right your way after a quick break here. So here we go. Game number 2. Sequia is up 1-0 in the first match of WARNO League Season 4 here. 3 in Division 4. That way around again. And yeah, Sequia coming around this time with another new Norfolk division. 4th E Division. But 3 Cats in a Trench Coat has one of the top meta divisions currently out here now with the 2nd UK. So that should be a pretty hot matchup. We have 6 SAS out already. We have a lot of Foxes this time for... Oh my goodness! 3 Cats is doing something cheeky again. Last time we had a massive tank opener. This time around we have 5 Foxes going for blood. What do we have here from Sequia so far?
We have both the KCT Verkenners, which is a cheap and very affordable Special Forces GSR recon squad, and the M113 CNV, which is probably maybe my favorite or one of my favorite units in the game right now. It's 55 points. It's got 1 armor on all sides. It's got very good optics, mediocre stealth, all right speed, but not the best, and it's got an Oerlikon. It's got a 4-pen gun. It's and no stabilizer on it. So these all allow it to be basically 55 points, and it might be the best, straight up just the best, some of the best fire support you can have early on in the game. If you they can spot enemies, they can fire enemies, and they can destroy enemies, and they are not as expensive as something like LAVs. The laws in 82nd have the same guns, except I believe they have some stabilizers on them. The more important attack we can see up north, there are M113 infantry, both the Naturals, the reservists, as well as the Genie infantry. The lack of YPRs, the Dutch IFVs, is worrying here, because 2nd UK has some of the best line infantry in the game, and the Dutch have some of the worst line infantry in the game. They don't have massively large squads like the Dutch, like the Polish. They have older generation infantry weapons, 7.62s, and they generally just have a single machine gun per team. And so without the support of either 50 cal equipped M113s or the Oerlikon equipped IFVs, the Dutch will not be able to win infantry fights. But the mech component of the 4th division of the Netherlands is very powerful, and I think if this opener can be stabilized against 2nd UK, I think Sequoia can probably transition into Leopards really nicely. And in my personal experience, Leopards beat Challenger 2s basically every time.
Yeah, because you can choose the engagements. Like the big difference between Shelly and Leo, it's first of all the rate of fire. The Leo gets the second shot out faster than the Shelly, and it also is a lot faster. So whenever the Leo doesn't hit the first shot and the Shelly does, the Leo can just run away. The Shelly doesn't have that luxury. So that is a problem there. We have the 6 SAS plus 2 airmobile leaders coming up here as the front line, basically here on the side of the 3 Cats. And the SAS, they do it all. Like, it's the perfect unit to rely on its own, because it has AA, it has AT, and it is fantastic anti-infantry as well. So SAS here coming in. Long range AT is a bit lacking. One Milan team would go hard here, I think, to hold that opener. That's all that is supposed to do, because the damage is supposed to come from this massive 5 Fox flank. I think 3 Foxes here and 2 more units in the center would have been better, but 5 Foxes for sure should be annoying here in the real line, especially as the Dutch don't have any helicopters to deal with this. Like, with a lot of divisions, it would be, yeah, okay, you get Foxes into your real line, what do? You buy a couple of ATGM helicopters or attack helicopters and hunt them down. That is not a luxury the Dutch have, because it's one of 2 divisions in the game so far that has no helicopters whatsoever. So they just can't hunt them there.
Yeah, on the positive side, they can just send a single Leopard or one, and I think that will also work if the enemy if they know where the enemy is. I am really not a fan of opening with 6 SAS. SAS are so expensive, 100 point per, that this 4 SAS investment here and 2 in the middle and 2 SAS investment down south has just taken it is so risky. There should be the Milan 2 should already be there in case there was like a mech push coming. The SAS would be completely undefended outside of maybe the rocket helicopters on the back behind here. The SAS has one major weakness, and that is light vehicles outside of 700-meter range. If they can be spotted and if they can be engaged, say maybe by something like the M113 CNV, and engage with the massed 50 caliber machine guns of the transports, that's 100 points gone, and that 100 points actually needs to achieve something. Otherwise your opener is just you just lost a lot of tempo, and your first few minutes is you buying standard fundamentals like Milan 2s and Scouts.
Yeah, the Foxes are still going strong in the south. The SAS have positioned here in Charlie, and the other SAS now in the center, going to start fighting. One of them I don't like the positioning of. You want to keep them close in the buildings, and to really fight, you don't want to put them out in open fields, because they also have short-range weapons. The C8 is classified as a submachine gun, more like a short carbine kind of rifle. So it only has 500-meter range, and it can't really deal with the with long-range infantry fights. So having the infantry out in the open like this with the SAS is not really helpful. Lynx rockets coming around here. The SAS doing a good job against the other infantry units here, especially the ones out in the open. Stinger missing the Lynx, so the Lynx rocket can do its part for this combat as well. And yeah, the SAS really shredding through the Nantes here. The Nantes, as reservist unit, gets stressed out, and once a unit is fully stressed out, its TPS is absolutely in shambles, as that means that it has 75% less accuracy, 40% higher reload time, so damage drops insanely hard.
I think there's a big mistake, is being made right now. I think down south here, the Foxes are going to get some units, but there is the two of the Foxes are moving close to the M113 CNV, and depending how it happens, could be that the Dutch recon vehicle actually could maybe get the first shot off, and now we see the order buying the Panzerinfanterie, the heavier infantry coming right up. We can say earlier on, as the air mobile was killed up north by the Cheetah and the recon vehicles, that could have been a moment to just right-click and push through. 3 cats in a trench coat got lucky that the Scouts and Milan reached the position in time, and that Sequoia didn't try to go do some further aggro. And but right now we can see that the more mechanized offensive here, despite getting picked out by the Milan 2s, has managed to let them trade pretty well. The reinforcement could have been bought earlier. If I was attacking the middle myself, I would have pre-bought the reinforcement so that by the time I had gotten some kills, the YPRs could maybe be there on time. The second UK gets to reinforce faster always because they have the Lynx rockets, but holding up some of the Cheetahs in the front line will be able to get a lot of expensive points out of these 70-point Cheetah Lynxes.
Yeah, the SAS that were out now got punished for it. Is spotted by the M113s here with the 50 cal and the Ehrlichen variant, and SAS just getting shredded there. And yeah, there come all the airmobiles, but the Cheetah, the best gun-based AA in the game. It has good range, and it has 30% accuracy, which just makes it shred through helicopters. The Lynx rockets here desperately trying to go down, but one of them shut down already. And the infantry didn't get out, so airmobiles, really good infantry. 55 points for lower 80 and 9 men with 2 MGs. That is fantastic. But one of them just outright lost there. And the SAS down to only 3 on the battlefield, only 1 left in the center, 3 down already. The warriors starting to come in here. More warriors would be nice. A challenger leader is instead what we get here. As the warrior with Milan especially would be great here. to just try to Milan hit the autocannon vehicles on the other side, because they don't have any ATGMs on them. That's a big weakness of that YPR. It doesn't bring a Milan launcher with it. It only has the good autocannon, but it dies one shot to any ATGM.
Yeah, but on the other hand, you do get the Leopard 2A4s, and with their amazing maneuverability, you can both smoke and kind of juke out some hits from the Milan 2s pretty easily if you are concentrated. There's also the best artillery gun, the M110A2, can be bought by the Dutch and has been bought by the Dutch, and that could easily destroy these fortified infantry in the buildings here. But they haven't noticed the foxes yet. The M13 might actually drive through the foxes. This could be a massive kill here.
The M110 looks like it is going straight forward. Meanwhile, we have another 5 Lynx rockets coming around here, bringing Airmobile into the fight. Yeah, 3 cats in a trench coat. Loves to play full on into the theme. And here we go with the cavalry. Right off the Valkyrie playing in those helicopters, I'm sure. And meanwhile, YPR trying to push in through the middle. Warrior is pretty good against those. They are pretty equal. Warrior having the 1 extra frontal armor, the YPR having the 1 extra pen, so it's equal fight there. But the Warrior gets the first kill here, as the Panzer Infantry is trying to push forward. Airmobile getting in here as well. SAS trying to move around. Lynx rockets haven't moved around, and here we go. The Airmobile have all unloaded. Lynx rockets could be ready. F-16 trying to come around. SAS get a hit against it though. The other SAS moving in the middle won't get a shot off. Whilst the Foxes got the M110 and are now spreading out into the rear line here. So they can do more damage.
Yeah, right now I think this attack that is happening in the middle needs to be supported by another attack by Sequoia's northern forces. There are recon infantry, there are cheetahs, there's even a leopard that could be out there picking up and widening this front. The massive investment into these Lynx rockets, I don't think it's going to pay out, considering how many cheetahs we're seeing on the board here. The cheetahs are even kind of doing close defense against the air mobile taking out one of them, but just some meters away from being able to take out the second one here. And now with an F-16A kind of wasting itself and hitting a unit that could be taken out by a simple movement by the Leopard and the recon units here. And but so far, I think this mechanized attack in the middle should be able to break through here if well played. But who is going to protect the red town on Alpha? There are no reinforcements coming there. The reinforcements are getting cut by both sides. Now Leopard 2 going and maybe taking out this Fox up northeast. But so far the air mobile, if they actually getting the Alpha town, I think honestly Sequoia might just want to leave them there and push through towards Delta. Organize some of your vehicles and tanks, get them behind a Genie Verk or a Verkeners KCT, and just push through to the back point. There's no use fighting the second UK on second UK's terms. 3 Cats has now bought 3 Challenger Mark IIs, which is, I believe, a single card of them. They get 2 cards plus a leader card. But those things, if the push happens right now, the challengers won't be able to affect this location, the position here. And it might be that Sequoia is actually moving to engage this town force with the AA guns. I think that the challengers will be able to enter the battle space.
Yeah, the Airmobiles here getting shredded. Jelly Mark II leader trying to get involved, getting shot by the Nantes here with the Law. That won't deal much damage, but it will do the stress. So that Challenger is down in the dumpster when it comes to accuracy and rate of fire. The Foxes might get a couple more kills here in a second, as more recon units start to hunt down for them now. Recon BO 105, the only kind of helicopter that you get, and the YPR without a 50 cal though, with only a 50 cal, no autocannon on this one, trying to hunt them down. The
Yeah,
Foxes
that's
will
really
be
good.
able to beat that most likely. Like, that's the issue with this deck. You kind of need air to deal with situations like that. The Chelly actually getting a hull breach here against the Leo 2A4B in the middle, but the Leo 2A4B is the superior tank. It has the 21 pan gun. It has a bit less frontal armor, but the 21 pan gun and the better accuracy and rate of fire there make the difference. Chelly should fall back to the Chinook and just repair, as currently it is fully stressed out on half hit points. Smoke now disappeared. 3 cats didn't disengage here. That is a big mistake. But the airmobile trying to move around here in the town. Shelly starts disengaging now. Will it be in time? Oh, it might just back off right into the Nantre. That could be deadly.
Oh,
Shelly still trying to disengage. Oh, the side shot. And it gets the kill onto the leader. The airmobile leader is still in there, so this zone won't quite collapse yet, but that's still a painful loss there. Shelly leader, pretty expensive unit. Foxes in the south against BO-105 helicopter. Can they get the shutdown? Not quite. They got the 50 cal
air
recon
mobile.
unit. YPR with Panzer Infantry coming in now. Driving right past them though. Not unloading here. So that will be another unit killed off by these Foxes.
No, the air mobile might be taking away. No, they're running out of ammo. The air mobile that already took out 2 APRs might. The Leopard 2 has tanked both of its shots, and now the Leopard needs to escape the town immediately. The town is a hostile space, and 4 Law 2s, 5 actually left in the whole town. The HE bomber taking out one of the Foxes, and though the Foxes on the back line, taking out just one more infantry squad.
Oh, and the Leo 2A4C gets sideshotted by another Law 80. Goes down there. The airmobile doing their job. This is a brutal game for Sequoia. We have artillery now for 3 cats in a trench coat as well, aiming for the cheetahs. Sequoia is starting to get the take up here. Chieftains, challengers are arriving now on the front line. Not a lot of infantry here, but more warrior infantry coming around now. And yeah, the Foxes still need to be hunted down. Oh no, the YPRs will run past it again here. This is painful for Sequoia.
And maybe we should wait for the Foxes to run out of ammo or something. Like this is I think this kind of very wide front with a lot of micro opportunities is stretching away the Sequoia's capacity here. But though on the other hand, they are on +1 for the moment here. If they manage to hold these positions and start slowly building up the force of Leopard 2s, this might actually go well. There are no reinforcements currently going towards Alpha for the air mobiles, and with the oh no, the vehicles are going in first. The vehicles are going to be eaten by the air mobiles once again before the no, they actually didn't. Wow. That was really close. The genies with the satchel charges, if they can engage the air mobiles, might actually clean up the town for good. And there's also a complete lack of supply outside of the single YPR, which should both repair the leopards as well as rearm the cheetahs.
Ooh, the Foxes get beaten in the rear finally. The YPRs with their autocannon. One more dying there. That's a good bunch of dead YPRs here. But in the end, the Foxes finally fall. The one remaining Fox is trying to aim at the BO-105, but it's at such a weird angle that it can't get its gun high enough. So, yeah, the gun elevation here not allowing to kill the BO-105, and the F-16 kills the Fox here. So finally, all Foxes cleared up. One more M110 on the battlefield. And we have Challenger on Leo 2A4B action going on. The second Leo 2A4 is trying to enter the fight, but the first one might go down before that. Yes, it does. Cheetah under fire here as well. The Genie are starting to clean up the town here. Sequia's CV has been pushed out of the zone as well, and for now, 3 cats has a slight point advantage. It would be a draw with the current point values, though.
Yeah, the M110 has been bought here and is in firing rate right now, and I think the M110, if actively used, could start hurting this very centrally kind of concentrated forces of the British. But there needs to be a ground force in concave, if at all possible, as always, to to limit the ability of these challengers to attack. Warriors have 70 kph. Warriors have a lot of capacity to move around, but the challengers don't. If the challengers start getting fired at, if they start eating up the 200 millimeters shells from the M110, they will become combat ineffective quite quickly. And the Leopard 2 now might be able to get a first shot off.
Ooh, good hit there. The Chellies, only one of them hitting. So the Leo might be able to finish one of them off here. No, barely alive. And the Leos gets hit by both of them now, tanking heavily. And so the other Chelly might be able to finish it off. Yes, a Leo 4 Chelly. That's not a good trade for the Leos here. So good kill for 3 Cats. Finding another infantry unit here on the way out with the Warriors as well. The Warriors outnumbering the autocannons on the other side massively now. A good couple of YPRs coming in from the rear now. But the Foxes did their job. Yes, they're finally all killed, but they did take so much power out of the forces of Sequia here, so that the center is in the hand of 3 Cats now again, and 3 Cats is pushing towards Alpha, and I don't see anything that can stop the challengers here right now.
Yeah, this is once more, this is a situation where 3 Cats and the backline action that lasted for almost like 15 minutes, has managed to thin out the force of Sequoia so much that the heavier armored division is lacking in mech compared to the light infantry division with the mech component. And it's overextension here. Overextensions are possible for the British. The one thing that the Dutch infantry has that is better than basically everything is that they have so many Carl Gustavs. Carl Gustavs are such good weapons. They have good range, good damage, good suppression, good accuracy, and if controlled well enough, and if mistakes are made by the British, they could lose some, get some bad engagements here soon. And then a well-microed Leopard 2 with some map control could maybe turn the tide here. And it is still 20 minutes left, and the backline action has been over. And on the other hand, there's only a single SAS and an airmobile leader guarding the sawmill at Charlie. But all of these are things that demand even more attention by the player. So we can't really rely on them to be able to start doing that kind of stuff in the middle of responding to this the big attack coming finally from the opponent.
Yeah. 2 more Leos coming in, 1 more Leo 2A4C that outclasses the Chellies by a lot. Has the same frontal armor, the extra 3 pen, the slightly better accuracy, the slightly better rate of fire as well, so that would be big. But the Panzer Infantry is moving out on its own here. Oh no, that's a similar...
No, what are you doing?
Oh, they are so bunched up, so the HE damage even hits all 3 squads at once. Oh my goodness. Oh, the Panzer Infantry way too bunched up there. You need to get your infantry a bit better spread out, otherwise the HE, they're just... Even the HE of the autocannon just hitting them all at once. The F-16 does get a good hit in there, so at least these units will be pushed back for a bit, but the Jaguar HE coming in on the other side as well. Stingers and Cheetah, not able to get the kill there. And all that infantry down now. So Sequia pushed back a couple more minutes from pushing out. Sequia doesn't need many points here, and even at the current state it would be a draw, which would be a game win, or a match win for Sequia. It would be a 3-1 match win. Each map is worth 2 points. If you get a win, you get both points. If it's a draw, you get 1 point, and the enemy gets 1 point for the map. So, yeah, Sequia would be still the match winner with the current state, as there needs to be 100 point difference between 2 players for there to be a full-on winner. But 3 Cats is pushing in here now.
Received counter battery. M110 gets disabled for a moment by counter battery, but fortunately for it, by good luck, survives this. Currently, there is only a single Stinger and a single Cheetah, and they're in a completely wrong direction. If the Gazelles want to push forward, they're gonna be they're only going to be countered by some autocannons and infantry weapons, basically. Reinforcements we're seeing.
HE Jaguar coming around. It still has its bombs. Didn't drop its bombs yet. It's Cluster Jaguar. Oh no. Oh, it misses.
And it misses.
Okay, the Leo is still alive. The Cheetah in the north?
It's out
of ammo. Oh no.
Oh no.
That could be so important here. The Jaguar HE still has its bombs. We have a lot of Gazelle rockets and Fito coming in. I haven't seen the Fito in a while. This is the only top attack missile in the game so far. So it's 16 damage. They don't look that dangerous until you realize they don't hit the frontal armor. They hit the top armor. And top armor is always the weakest. So it one hits everything that has less than 3 top armor, and it 2 hits everything with 3 top armor. So the Fito actually pretty scary ATGM helicopter. And here we go. Firing another missile here. Trying to come in. Layout 2A4 does get missed. Fito coming in with another shot here. And we'd have a tap out. And I think it's a draw. 3 cats getting the victory this time around. Yes. The Fox early game action here paying off. So many kills here. SAS holding the line long enough for the Foxes to do the damage on the reinforcement road. And GGVP.
Yeah, GG. This was I mean the Foxes here. I mean you just have to look at the you can see the story of the game with the Fox kills here. They took out the early investment, or not early, but the first investment into artillery. They took out a special forces recon squad that could have gained amazing map control and early warning. That could have stopped or helped prevent the air mobile attacks. They took out TOW2s, leading to the late game mechanized force getting built up. They took out Natres, Panzerinfanterie, all units that could have held the line at the end when the British started going over the top. There was a moment in the early game for Sequoia to just right click very early on, to right click, take the risk, try and get into the back point, but there was too much going on, and I think they probably maybe panicked a little bit, realizing that all of their reinforcements hadn't really paid off. The time when the Lynxes started getting bought en masse, I think that could have been an excellent time to start forcing the mech fight, because there was so much anti-air at that moment. There were so many cheetahs out there. There were stingers sport all around, and even more cheetahs coming in as reinforcements. So there could have been a well-organized mech attack that could have just made the Lynx investment into to be completely worthless. But by that point, the tempo of the game had completely changed, and the air mobile could just get into the town and force Sequoia into a permanent defensive posture. It is I still think that the 6 SAS opener was overtly risky. A 3 SAS or 4 SAS opener with the accompanying Milan 2s to prevent enemy early breakthroughs could have been the thing. But if we can let people in the Division 4 or in ranked learn anything from this game, if you see your opponent attacking you with massed SAS, push every other side. They've spent all their points. Their scouts and their Milans are just are still in deployment if they attack you with massed
And the most
SAS.
important part of this is watch your real line and listen to the dying sounds. If you have a weird dying sound and you're like, wait, I don't see anything dying right now on the screen, it's most likely your guys getting hit in the rear at that moment. So yeah, GGVP here between these two, and yeah, well played by 3 cats this time around, getting a score on the board here, a draw in the first game. That's pretty fitting as we get the group stage starting here now. And yeah, 2 points for each players here in this game. And we move on to the next game, which is a Division 2 game. Joker versus Koch. So yeah, we move over to Division 2. And we go in here into Joker versus Koch. And I didn't realize people were putting in the results so quickly. But yeah, Joker versus Koch coming up real quick there. Short break, then we're gonna be back with game number 2.
So what's the game's time in the launch window?
So here we go, everybody. Division 2 action, Joker versus Koch, Group A action, and Joker coming in with 2nd Panzer Grenadier, Koch coming up with Berliner Gruppierung, and that should be a pretty interesting one as well. Whilst that, yeah, we have Urban Frontlines here as the map. Berliner Gruppierung outside of Urban Frontlines, not a great division. On Urban Frontlines, pretty fine division in my eyes. And
Yeah.
in general, I'm pretty hyped that we see Urban Frontlines. I wasn't quite sure how people stand to it, if people would like it, but it seems like people like it. So there we go.
Yeah, it's people demand variety and change, and then when they get the change, they complain that the game the change isn't as similar as the stuff they had before. But I think on the long term, even with small tweaks, or even without small tweaks, I think maps like Urban Frontlines and maps like Kreide and maps like Chemical 1v1 will be accepted. They just need to get through the experience barrier. People who are new to the game, new to the maps, will always play worse on the maps because they don't have map experience with them. So when they get that experience, they will slowly start accepting the map and etc., etc. And so far, looking here, the 2nd Panzer Grenadier and Berliner, both of them very nice for this map specifically. Only the 2nd Panzergrenadier here has a forward deployment advantage, but that forward deployment advantage is West German Fallschirmjäger. So is that really an advantage? Who can say? The both sides bring out pretty nice medium to light mechanized forces, including a lot of machine guns and T-55 tanks on the East German side. But on the West German side, you have Leopard 1A, 1A1s, Marders, as well as a small group of Leopard 2s, which can be very clutch in the late game. And everybody knows about the excellent top tier 2nd Panzergrenadier, reliable vanilla super division, no no weaknesses, can be played by beginners and elite top players. What does the Berliner bring? Why is the Berliner competitive here against this famously powerful and versatile division?
It has a lot of infantry and a lot of good mechanized infantry at that. And it has those T-55s, which on this map, you usually get into range for their engagement, and then T-55s are half decent. And you have good anti-tank guns in the division as well, which you can hide nicely in all these pretty well-positioned tree lines as well. And yeah, you have the Strela Modschützen, you have the SVD Modschützen, you have the Wachschützen, different kind of units. So all of them are quite nice. One big nerf in my eyes to the division was a nerf that all pack divisions got, that the ARM 70s and the MLRS launchers got nerfed in availability from 2 per card to 1 per card, but it was especially important for that deck in my eyes because it really needed all those rocket launchers to soften up positions. And the Wachschützen and the Strelas had been slightly nerfed again as well, because I think there was a moment in time, it was a really short window, and most people didn't quite catch on. But when the Wachschützen and the Strelas were really cheap, this deck was actually a really strong spam deck. The map pool wasn't quite amazing for it back then, but if Urban Frontline would have been in there back then, I think this division would have dominated Urban Frontlines. And even now, I think it's a pretty good one for Urban Frontlines. No other map in the map pool really is good for it, but Urban Frontlines, it should do pretty well on.
Yeah, especially the West German Fallschirmjägers famously lack any forward deployment anti-air. So if they get spotted early, the L-39 Albatros with its 2 massive 500-kilogram bombs could actually take those guys out early on. The Eyehawk is up, and there is a Gepard in the backline here, so could be maybe do short work of this trainer aircraft in just a second.
Yeah, there we go. Trainer aircraft getting shut down. Luckily, it doesn't land on the NSV, but still being shut down. The Wachschützenaufklärer here, special forces. Oh, they should take the fight against the Fallschirmjägers. They win that. The Grenzerflamm trying to push in here as well. KDA Schützen coming around, beefy squads. We don't see any of the Modschützen here, curiously. Yeah, only one Modschützen Strela here in the middle. They have 2 MGs, 8 hit points, a Strela and an RPG. So yeah, when these got the RPGs, the Strela and the SVD one, without any price nerf, they were really OP for like 1 or 2 weeks, and then it got nerfed. Might have even been less than that. Like that was one of the quickest reactions by Eugen ever to to a balance change, and yeah.
I mean, it was an East German division, not a French one.
Yeah.
But so far we see Koch doing a very nice engagement here, engaging only single one of the Fallschirmjägers, using 3 units, including the recon car with the 50 cal, as well as the flame border guards, the Grenzers. And Joker seems to be keeping this attack up with more Panzergrenadiers and Fallschirmjägers, now supported with the very powerful Gepard, whose AA guns will run out of ammo fast, but pay themselves back by destroying infantry, even in buildings. KDA Schützen, as they get suppressed and immediately routed, are not the right units to hold this alone. But reinforcements are actually not coming. Artillery, even 3 pieces of artillery has been bought already. But this here is a great moment for Joker to try to press their advantage. If they allow this moment to stand still, they will lose their advantage of concentration. If you zoom out, you can see that Koch has used their excellent availability of Aufklärers, Fagots, Conquerors, and 50 cal machine guns to create a very solid line of defense all around the map. But the smaller mechanized attack can actually break through this, because the forces that are defending the city for the DDR side are not mobile. They can't immediately reposition to counter this. And any time that Jokatard keeps lollygagging here is more time for more infantry and artillery to get in position. Even the Motorschützen Metis are coming in. The Motorschützen Metis are, interestingly enough, being taken at 0 vet. Of course, this is DDR 0-vet, which means that they get the same stress resistance as a standard 1-vet unit, but they do not get the stress recovery, which is the more important stat, I believe.
Yeah, the Fagot ATGM here coming in, trying to deal some damage. Gets a good hit against the Leo 1 there, getting a fuel explosion on it. And the Rapira trying to get some fire here down the mid lane as well. Whilst
the Rapira is already getting targeted by an early bought M110 203mm big boy gun, and the big boy gun I think will get a lot of work done during this match, I believe.
yeah, Wachschützen and Medis here have to be careful. They don't want to go too far forward. Yeah, that's better. One of them still pushing in quite close here, and they most likely gonna get. Yeah, there we go.
Ooh.
One of them getting immediately sniped there, and the pack going down as well. There's a second pack there already in the middle, but no flanking maneuver here. No use of by Koch of the cheaper forces of theirs to try to push through the north or so on. They have a massive advantage there, but it's purely defensive units. So Koch is going for the full-on grind fest in the middle, and I'm not sure if they are situated well enough for that. Conqueror's ATGM and Fagot ATGM from the high-rise buildings, they're doing a good job, but the M110 can target that quite easily. Conquerors has the target on his back for the M110 now. We have the artillery on the other side, but the D20 is actually not getting super much damage done, though we have the infantry push in the north, Mordschützen Strela and the 50 cal pushing into the 7mm here. So at least the northern flank seems to be going Koch's way now. Whilst in the south, they are holding for now. Wachschützen and Wachschützen RPO coming in. They are pretty capable infantry units with shock trade and all. But, ooh, one more nearly dying in transport there. Wachschützen RPO can stress down the Panzer Grenadiers quite quickly. Martyrs firing into the PPH here in the south. And a lot of Martyrs pushing forward here now. So the Wachschützen have a big problem in front of them.
Yeah, Coach does the old-fashioned smoke trick and manages to get the saves and a small yet meaningful +1 tick for the moment. And the Wachschützen managed to trade pretty well against the Panzer Grenadier up in the front line here, using both their RPOs and their superior capacities in general. The vehicles have not engaged the Wachschützen yet, giving just important seconds, literal seconds, for Koch to keep this defense up. And if the Martyrs would have moved there earlier, they could have maybe taken out all of these forces. Now that the zone of Foxtrot can be reinforced, the artillery is close, there are supply close. Koch can still fight this out, especially as their enemy is so concentrated, but I just can't see Koch really gaining back any momentum here. Like you said, they're only buying defensive units. There's a T-55, a 2-vet T-55 of all things, which I think will be very good at doing fire support from a safe distance. But with the existence of the M110 here, the fights really need to go well for Koch. Like chewing through the infantry tab of 2nd Panzer Grenadier, especially when they're vetted up by a 10-man Jägerführer squad, this is a bad position for anybody to be.
Yeah, and the Wachschützen here, and Wachschützen going a bit too deep every single time here, losing 1 or 2 of them in transport, and that in the long run just does mean that you don't have the SPWs as fire support, and you kind of need them as a fire support wall, because that's what the Martyrs are capable of doing here. And yeah, there were SPWs everywhere. There were SPWs coming with every single one of these units, but they just all immediately died and couldn't use their 14.5mm here as fire support. And at the meantime, the Martyrs just shredded through here. Now the Mehrzweckwaffe coming in. Did it not drop it? It dropped half its payload, but it didn't do much damage there. It dropped it on the rear, but still the Mordschützen here getting decimated. Wachschützen trying to move around, but the Martyr push from the side here just a bit too much. And this is not looking good for Koch at all.
Yeah, this is Koch really. I don't think Koch really understood the attack that was happening. There are towers that can strike at a long range, and prevent the sieging of this position with net
Oh
units.
no,
The
counter battery on the artillery. Another tool gets removed here from Koch's toolset. Yeah, the D20s, they were too complicit. They didn't move around and they get hit for it. And the MOR-10, that is rotating around, so the counter battery that Koch tries now, it wouldn't even work out with just a single gun most likely, and it won't find a target there. And the Martyrs and the Leos here on the side, they all still are fine. There was no good positioned 100mm puck to hit them with the ATGMs or anything, so they just keep on pushing through here, and yeah, Koch is in a world of pain.
Yeah, Koch's counter battery missing everything because Joker is simply Q-moving the M110 self-propelled gun, something that the non-self-propelled guns of Koch cannot do. They need to be microed specifically into the tractors. And yeah, so far this trading seems to be going Joker's way quite significantly, but Koch is opening up the front line a little bit, putting up a recon squad.
Oh
and
no, the 100mm gets way
here.
too close to the front line though. It gets killed off by the Martyr before it can even get a shot out here most likely. Yeah, there we go. This is painful. Like those 100mm guns, they can be so powerful if set up quite nicely, but they obviously can't be used as a reactive force. That's not what they're supposed to be there. So yeah, 100mm gun earlier here in the south, that could have shut down a lot. But without that now, I think it's kind of over here.
Yeah, I mean, this is at this point you just do not keep pushing as Koch. There is an enemy Aufklärer currently holding your reinforcement route, and your MTLB is opening fire on it, being the only unit doing so, I believe. This is now the MTLB is going to die, unfortunately, but yeah, this and Joker is smoking a Sultan inside the zone to contest it.
Yeah, and we also just saw the coup dying to the plane that shot down by the plane crashing into it.
No.
So insult comes to adding insult to injury there with that really unfortunate moment for that coup. And yeah, the kind of Japanese kamikaze style death animation there of that plane. Whilst we have a Mi-8 coming in here, but there is a Zwilling around, there's a Gepard around, so the Panzergrenadiers and Fallschirmjägers here, they have it all under control. Panzergrenadiers nowadays, really strong infantry for only 35 points. They have a sniper rifle with them and a medium machine gun, so the firepower of them is really nice. And yeah, so the Panzergrenadiers here going down, and that's what the SPWs are supposed to do. Yeah, like we see them now, because with only 6 hit points, SPWs actually chew through Panzergrenadiers even in building decently fast. But first of all, the infantry on the side of Koch is a lot of them is 0 vet, which is not good here. As on the other side we have a lot of 2 and 3 veterancy infantry, so the infantry fights don't end up, even when it's infantry versus infantry, don't end up well, where the East Germans should be just superior. And yeah, the SPWs, they were just thrown away a bit too easily. And not the maneuverability of the force not used enough, I think. Going into the grind in the center and just going into that as Berliner Gruppierung was a mistake. Like, you should kind of focus one flank and then defend the other flank with the AT guns and kind of make it like that. And because in the grind game, 2nd Panzer Grenadier is one of the hardest to beat divisions in a grind match.
Yeah, even like Joker could have invested into maybe 2 Wachschuts and to try to slowly start pushing into Echo, into the northwestern point from our perspective. There was a single Fallschirmjäger and a Fallschirmpala Milan there, and with some recon and a single infantry squad and maybe a single SPW, they could have widened the front. They could have forced Joker to fortify their point. They could have forced them to pull back resources or attention to that, but none of this happened. At every point, Koch has been on the back foot, just allowing Joker to dictate the pace of the game. And right now, even if the engagements are going kind of mediocrely, the +3 as well as the just equipment advantage on board, including the Eyehawk, the M110, the Panzermörser, the masses of Leopards and Martyrs, all of this can move. The weapons teams, the NSVs, the Fagoths, the Conquerors, they cannot move. They cannot move around. So even if Koch manages to open a new front, the Leopards can just fast move throughout the controlled parts of town and engage.
Yeah, Ultimaker pushing in here into heavily stressed out KDA Schützen, so the KDA Schützen not really able to do anything. The AT guns getting a martyr there, T55 trying to come around, but the Leos here with pretty high veterancy as well. And yeah, the M110 still doing its job as well from the rear here. Getting involved against the Fagot teams, getting one of them killed already. Leo 1 goes down, but the traits are not really what Koch needs right now. They are not terrible at this point in the game, but there was a moment here where he just lost a lot. The cheap spam of Berliner Gruppierung at least keeps coming here, so the constant new influx of units keeps the front line up for now. And if a couple of good trades can be made, it might be working out. Oh no, but the SPW that was supposed to go for the middle just died, so the recapture of the middle is not going to happen. And the +2 for Joker here is kind of annoying already for Koch at this point.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to Berliner Gruppierung yourself into the enemy backpoint in the late game. You're not going to be able to do fast maneuver warfare. You need to trade well and build up these front lines. And the frontline building has not been allowed to happen by just simply more aggressive and better controlled play from Joker. Joker already has the second M110 super heavy howitzer on board, so any kind of build up here is going to have to deal with two M110s. And in urban front lines, anybody with experience playing against super heavy howitzers, which are absolutely the meta artillery pick currently in the game, this is you need to send in helicopters, artillery in the back lines. You need to do something about that, and Koch may not have resources to do that. This would require a seed plane to counter the Eyehawk, and I don't think they have that in Berliner Gruppierung.
Yeah, 7.6mm here getting bullied. KDE Schützen and the SPW starting to chew through it here now. That's yeah, once more a show of what could happen here if we had like 4, 5, 6 SPWs constantly firing, with the infantry annoying the martyrs with medis and so on, but that's not what happened here. The combined spam force of Koch never got online, and yeah, if that comes in piecemeal, martyr autocannons can deal with it decently. Martyr autocannons not the best HE dealers in the game, like a lot of other autocannons do it a good bit better, but it still does it decently. And we have now another T55 plop coming in here, and the Leon 1 numbers have gone down a decent bit, but they won't change this on their own either here. Get a martyr, that's nice, but they need to get a lot more done to really turn this around, especially with 2 M110s starting to put up the pressure here as well.
Yeah. Oh, the T55 is actually getting a third shot in a row, and now getting not getting a second martyr. Okay, T55 is actually not paying off. I think even with the weaker autocannon, I believe the martyr is still a pretty nice IFV to have in these close range environments, because it has 4 frontal armor, and 4 frontal armor means that they can just survive things that the 3 frontal armor units couldn't. And I believe the Martyr 1A3 even has 5 frontal armor, if you want to invest extra points in those.
Yeah, KDA Schützen under fire. Panzer Grenadiers now getting hit by the T-55s and the SPWs. Getting killed off there. So this front line is a bit stabilizing right now, but the artillery game is heavily in favor of our player in blue. We didn't see an RM-17. That's what I was talking about earlier. Like, with 2 RM-70s per card, you could really set up nice artillery salvos easily on a map like this. Without that, it's a good bit harder to, because investing 2 cards into that artillery tab is good bit more expensive when it comes to your availability. So, and a single RM70 doesn't kill off vehicles. Like with a double salvo onto a spot, you will kill those martyrs. And double salvo, for example, right into that man-cut supply situation right now, that would be massive. But we don't have anything like that on the battlefield. We have more T-55s coming. We have more planes coming for some reason. With the Eyehawks on the battlefield, I don't think planes are an option at all for Koch. I think they're a massive waste of time. Berliner Gruppierung not having seat planes, so they can't really play that. Another massive weakness of the division. And yeah.
Yeah, I think the AT plane is maybe attempting to pick out tanks that are closer to the front line. Here, taking out a Leopard 1A, 1A1, and immediately getting attacked by the Eyehawk, unfortunately. The Tornado AA following up, but not getting there in time. The Koch is only behind about 400, 500 points, and this is right at the 20-minute mark, so it is not impossible here. Few good engagements, maybe an overextension, maybe losing all of these PA-1 helicopters by flying them a bit too close into a cube or an anti-air fight. And another push seems to be coming from Joker with 3 units, including the Pioneer Carl Gustav, one of the new West German infantry inventions, or giving the Carl Gustav to the unit that used to have the Armbrust. And
Yeah.
Motorschützennet is managing to take out a Leopard, or almost take out a Leopard here.
Yeah, we see more T-55s coming in. Another plane coming in, another one of those light bombers. But yeah, they haven't been working out well at all so far. They are dirt cheap, but yeah, they also need to get through. And against Eyehawks, them getting through is highly unlikely with 0 ECM and slow speed. Tornado helping out, getting rid of it as well. Gets the shot, gets the kill. Coop gets a hit on the Tornado at least, but nothing else there to follow it up. As the M110s start to get involved here once more, trying to get some kills
the
there.
M110s are actually, I gotta say for Koch has been pretty alright at dodging the M110s. Sometimes they will destroy a Conqueror squad, but a lot of the time the M110 ends up firing at towers that are already empty. And I think this speaks of Koch actively microing them and being on the ball about when their Conquerors have revealed themselves to the enemy and when they haven't. And this movement also makes sure that Joker can't necessarily keep tabs on what sightlines are safe for them and what aren't, and the losing of these Leopard 1s and Martyrs can build up in time, but I doubt it can build up well enough, considering there are so many cards of Panzergrenadier that you can take as a second, and you know, more are still coming, and they're not the top tier units, but they are absolutely good in these situations. Panzer Grenadiers have the extra designated marksman rifle nowadays, so that gives them just the extra ability to do suppression damage and thus achieve the cohesion snowball and win the DPS fight.
Yeah, the KDA-Schützen and Wachschützen here pushing forward. T-55s trying to come around against the Martyrs here in the middle as well. And we have a couple of Malyutkas actually from the side here. They got buffed a decent amount with the better stealth. So they, as a defensive units, are kind of okay. Oh, double Tornado Mehrzweckwaffe. Oh no. Oh, this could be... Oh, this will be devastating. Yeah, that's a lot of units disappearing. One of the Tornadoes gets hit. Second one gets stressed out to return as well. It wasn't quite as bad as I feared it would be, but it still got a decent amount of damage there on both units. The issue with the Mehrzweckwaffe, it has a stupidly long reload time of 6 minutes. So we won't see it anytime soon. Meanwhile...
Including the one that got hit, tagged by the anti-air.
Yeah,
so
artillery hitting the Jägers here now, trying to deal some damage. But yeah, +1 still for Joker. Joker now trying to do something in the north as well. And Koch here starting to run out of time with only 60 minutes on the clock. Already 600 points down, and this being a slow ticking map, especially for a division like Berliner.
Yeah, I think any kind of investment by Koch up the north could have multiplied itself in actual damage done, even if it's just a kind of shadow damage, even if it's got just a demand for the opponent to pay attention up north. Now letting Joker to decide the tempo of the game even up north is a mistake in my opinion. This the fact that Joker can have the momentum up north is proof that Koch has not seized this moment here, and right now instead the north will be a attention sink for Koch maybe.
Yeah.
It most likely will, yes, with the Gepard and Scimitars and Leos going up there to capture
If
the
we have
northern
an
point.
ARM 70 on the map, we haven't seen it being used yet. That is another unit that I would like to see some more damage here. I feel like ARM 70s, like they should have come in really early on and should have been constantly used here. But instead, we had seen the D20s. Those are not bad, but they don't do quite the same thing. And they don't quite have the shock and awe of those MLRSs. Als
On this
Wachschützen,
close range,
Nordschützenstreller here coming in. Oh no, Scimitar will find the Aufklärer in the south. Another attempt here of Koch thwarted by Joker. Joker really solid setup all around. The Panzergrenadiers in the north get eliminated by the BO. Spots all the Fagot teams, all the ATGMs. The Scimitar goes down as well, but the follow-up should be able to do it for Joker with the BO just right above everything. MR10s might get involved
yeah.
as well. Yeah, MR10s target both ATGMs already, and that is going to be a problem for Koch. Koch maybe should even just move them preemptively, knowing what's coming there.
Yeah, I get the early investment into the D20s because the D20s are only 115 points and they are heavy 152 millimeter artillery pieces. And despite their slow rate of fire and being low tech in general, they have a reload time of 60 seconds. So even without an upvet, they can, on close range, they can destroy an enemy infantry squad once per minute. If they are allowed to act in these fights, they can do a lot of damage, the kind of damage that an early RM70 investment may not achieve. But the counter battery just completely ruined this. And for a longest time, the D20 has actually been without ammo, despite there being supply nearby. As we can see, you know, the attention getting drawn away by enemy incursions up north, etc.
Meanwhile, MiG-21 AA3 flying in the north, but that is not an attack plane. The ARM-70 finally starting some aiming, but it's on a pretty empty part of the map, so not getting the value that Koch needs at this point, and the +1 is constantly taking here. +1, nearly 1,000 points in here now for Joker, and Joker now coming to break the north. The MR10s still around here. Now both
There is a
solidified in the middle.
napalm bomber up Koch. Koch seems to be, I don't know what is. Koch knows that there are both Gepards and Eyehawks, and Eyehawks one-shot MiG-21s. I don't know what this MiG investment better be something truly special here.
Yeah, also don't quite get the napalm bomber, because napalm is not good on this map. Because it doesn't do anything to build units and buildings. It has 2 normal bombs next to the 2 napalm bombs, so but it's only 250 kilogram bombs, so it's not great as a normal bomber for its price. And yeah, we'll see what that
think the idea there is, I think the idea is the normal bombs route the enemy infantry units, so they run into outside of the building and get into the napalm. But at this point, I don't know. They might be best used against the Leopard 2, actually, even if it's a suicide attack against the Gepard line.
Yeah, and Sultan now coming into the north. KDA Schützen not able to stop those armored vehicles there. T-55 trying to come around, but that's gonna have a tough time. Coop gets hit by artillery, so AA is reduced as well. SU-22 AT trying to come along. Misses the first shot. Eyehawk gets in there, gets the kill. Gepard trying to come around as well. Old MiG-21 goes down. SU-22 goes down. The MiG-21 napalm, I'm not sure what dropped on. It don't think that was all. Oh, it tried to get the MR10s. It didn't. It didn't get the MR10s. Yeah, good micro there, and everything goes down. Napalm MiG-21 goes down as well. And the Sultan gets into the north, and this is basically GG here at this point for Koch. As Koch was about to get the center again, but with the loss of the north, Koch won't get a tick up here, and without a tick, he can't get a W in this game. So Joker is now a decent bit ahead, will even get the tick up with the northern capture in a second. And the T-55s here, Wachschützen trying to move around. But there's so much now coming through the north, so Hotel will soon fall as well. And there's this game here. But yeah, coming in with an interesting pick. I still don't believe, as I said, I think Berliner got a slight bit over nerf with the rocket launcher changes and so on. And yeah, the gameplay versus the solid basic bitch division that is 2nd Panzergrenadier just doesn't work out like this. So yeah, GGVP here.
I think you're quite correct. Yeah, I think you're correct about the vehicle play of Koch early on being a crucial reason why this game went as it did. The Joker is saying that Koch actually first picked this division, and I think the principles there with Koch's gameplay were out there, but I just think the execution failed multiple times. Most likely because Joker's aggro and Joker's control was just good enough to never let Koch start playing the game that they wanted. So they were always playing with the back foot. The inability to build up a light mech force that you can use to quickly move and engage enemies in buildings and then move away, the inability, the constantly routing units into enemy fire, losing so many units for no reason, just for basically by lack of attention, the inability to use even small units to apply pressure to any parts of the map. All of these speak of getting surprised, of getting pushed out of your balance early on and never really being able to get back there. But speaking of getting back there, there will be a next game after this, of course.
Yeah.
But what do you think was the breaking point? Do you think Koch could have actually?
The early game just went too badly. I think Koch actually held on pretty nicely after that, but the breaking point was the early game. Koch, like if you have a look at the losses in the early game, the first up to minute 6, there was not a single blue unit dying. And you can't allow for that as Koch. Like, yeah, like 6 minutes without pressure as Berliner Gruppierung, as the cheap division against 2nd Panzergrenadier. You can't allow for that to happen. Like, they got an MR10 online before you get the first kill on them. That's not supposed to happen. The L39 was a misinvestment. Like, there should have been more ground units. There should have been more artillery early on. Like, as I said, I think the rocket artillery could have been a big game changer here. Not even just killing things, but forcing the enemy to disengage out of position, and then you can sweep in, take that ground. And that's not something we got here. Forcing more stuff with smoke play, maybe, to get those infantry fights. And then 0 veterancy on the infantry. Big mistake as well, because that's the only engagements you win. Like, infantry on infantry engagements, that's where Berliner Gruppierung is supposed to win this. And when the enemy brings in 1 or 2 veterancy units and you bring 0 veterancy units, that's not going to happen either. So I think that's where the mistakes there. If you want to play Berliner, you need to go all in on that kind of thing. And that didn't happen. So yeah, we will be in a game 2 here in a second between Joker and Koch.
Yep.
So here we go, everybody. Game number 2.
Go.
Joker up 1-0. And we have 56 guards, 56 VDV versus 39 guards mechanized. So interesting matchup here, as especially 56 getting through picks and bans. That's a surprise, as it is being seen as the most OP division at the moment. Far from top dog divisions that we had seen in the past, but still a top dog division for sure. And yeah, even after the latest slight nerfs, still up there, has the best division together with 5th Plane Day, and then it gets a bit wider with maybe 35th, maybe 2nd UK, maybe 2nd Pentagon Grenadier, more depending on the map at that stage. But 39th, not a bad division either. Got a slight buff again lately with the RPG 22 going back to 35 points, so the BMP2 plus Motostrelki combo for 95 points is back on the menu, and that is pretty powerful too. So we're gonna see a good amount of BMP2 on BMP2 action most likely in this game, whilst the BMP2s off Koch will have to dodge the cluster bombers though, as Motostrelki Medis, a couple of Grandsters and so on coming in here as well. So let's see how this all goes here. Conqueror's coming around.
They will also have to dodge the cluster mortar.
Yeah, and before we get into the game, real quick shout out to the Matcherino page, where you guys can add prize money to the prize pool for free, or contribute like these amazing people here with Chem Warrior, Golden Panzer, Steven, and with Bad Reki already coming in, getting us already up nearly to the first stretch goal, which is prizes for the 3rd and 4th place finishers as well. And then prices for Division 2 on $300. We are already $178 in, and we are only at day 1 of the league, so big thanks there. And yep, let's get back into the action here. It only takes you 1 click to get the 25 cents for free in there on the top right, so if you don't want to pay, that's absolutely fine, but take the second to add the free money into the prize pool for the time that these guys here take to play the games for us. Whilst, yeah, we have a pretty interesting setup here on the left side with the classic Recon BMD2s and the Spetsnaz GRU Stingers. My most hated unit at the moment in the game. Like, a lot of people talk about the cluster bombers, mortars. I think actually the division would be fine even with the current cluster mortars, but the Recon unit with forward deploy, Stingers, RPGs, and smoke are really, really strong.
Real problem that I have here is the Luas with the AGS-17, a 35 point 100 kph for the Spetsnaz GRU, and that transport is the same price as a Plamia weapons team. So you basically get a free Plamia and free transport, whichever way you want to look at it. And the Plamias are so powerful, the 30 millimeters are so powerful at such a massive range that whatever the Spetsnaz GRU are able to spot, they can eliminate at long range. And if something gets close, the RPG 27 as well as the Stingers will be able to micro against it. And it is not even expensive. It is a 95 point for those 2 units. And if you just set them into key areas, there is very little that your opponent can do without getting both good recon as well as units heavy enough to survive the 30mm grenade onslaught. And of course, 56th has no shortage of units that can also support the AGS-70s, including the 40-point Luas Faggot, also 100% 100 kph, in which they can immediately also long-range defend this area. The Razvedka BTR 60s with transporting the descending motor Razvedka. The Razvedka BTR, of course, also gets extra stealth and extra optics for 10 points, I believe. It's just collection of very good units, and it's very good units for all parts of the game, including a unit such as the DSH RPG-22, which is a 14-man infantry squad for the same price as the Gurkhas, but without the Resolute that the Gurkhas have.
Yeah, and one less MG
So
as well.
very, very strong division.
So, yeah, BMP2s here coming around. The BMP2s on both sides will be the key factor, I believe, in this game. And we have a surprisingly big push from Koch into the northern zone. But the BMP2s from there could pivot, obviously, quite easily into the south later on. But the first fight here will be in Boris, and those 3 BMP2s from the north, they won't be around for that. So Koch will have to struggle to survive through that. But Spetsnaz GRU already getting the better out of the Grancers here. We see now the kill onto the AGS. The Meat 8 goes down as well, so that at least are decent kills here. And the Machets and Medis getting into the fight here. BMP2s coming around. We have a Rapira trying to get in as well. Grancer for the south got killed off. SU-22 24 Napalm coming in. That's an interesting unit to bring out here. Napalm coming in. That's an interesting unit to bring out here. As, yep, Napalm just doesn't get the kill there on units in buildings that easily. Oh, and actually, wait. How did these units in the building die? Does Napalm do damage to units in the building now? What the hell? How? Did they change that? Did nobody tell me? No, I don't think they do, because in my last game they didn't. But they somehow got the kill there. The SU-24 still went down though, so it didn't pay off in the end anyways.
Doesn't in some other buildings?
It might be that
Oh, no,
in the bigger buildings it does.
Koch's BMP attack north. They are going.
Yeah, they move back because they realize there's not that much
Koch's
up there actually.
BMP2s that were sent up north. But they could have pushed through into the Anna back point that was open. And
Yeah, but they didn't have any recon with them, so that would have still been risky.
Near Anna, but if they if this infantry unit
like without recon, I wouldn't have.
There is no recon there, but those are the risks you need to take if you're willing to play against 56th.
Yeah, but we have a capture of the center now in the north. You have the T-80BVs, which are the heaviest tanks in this matchup, so entering Charlie, Koch can feel relatively comfortable as long as he can hold on to Boris as well. As center, Feodor later on in the game should be relatively easy to push with the heavier tank and so on. And that way around, I think Koch does the right choice here of not risking those BMP2s. Like, you don't need to force it in the early game here. You just need to keep it mobile, obviously, as soon as the cluster mortars come in, and they come in right now. No, that's just a normal 240mm mortar. That's not the cluster variant. Okay, coming in for the Rapira. That's a good target for it.
What?
TADB coming in.
At some point. Oh, did I remember the Lua's AGS-17 is also a recon unit? Maybe it did, by the way, on top of it all. The 39th pick here is quite interesting, and especially now that we're seeing Koch buy a 0-vet T80, this could be a very slow burn division. There is a single card at least taken of BMP2s on upvetted, which is obviously kind of an early game and aggressive force assault troops sort of a card. But if you're immediately buying out zero-vet tanks, that might mean that Koch is prepared to outlast all of the cluster mortar, all of the long game and ATGM challenges that the 56 can bring out. That Koch's plan might actually just be to build the massive tank wall and attack in the late game. And at this map, it's actually more potential than on other maps, considering how little tick you gain from capturing the zones.
Yeah, +2 currently for Joker is quite nice though, and Joker is setting up the pressure now with the 14-man infantry squads and so on, pushing in BTRs, getting shut up here by the ATGMs. The Rapira getting involved as well. We have a T-62 MD coming around. trying to help out with the infantry fights here as well. First T80 coming out on the other side. Mi-8 MTPI coming in as well. Su-22 with bombs coming towards the center here now. We'll see what that bombing run will look like, if it actually can do some damage. As the Stingers firing into the Mi-8. Mi-8 actually, with 40 ECM, can force out the Stinger rockets decently well here. They only have 3 of them each, so if you can let them shoot up all of those Stinger missiles, your planes are a bit safer afterwards. And the Mi-8 currently does a decent job at dodging them. There gets a hit. Now the Su-22 comes in against one of the DSHs. Gets hit by the Stinger though, but at least gets out alive afterwards and gets the kill there. CV goes down though, BMP-1 in the center, so this will be a full capture of the zone now, and the BMP-2s of Jokers outnumber the ones of Koch. Koch's T-80 not involved in the whole action here right now, and that is a massive mistake. Conquer's not in a good spot either to fire at anything, and so the infantry of Koch just got shredded here. The BMP-2s of Koch not involved, the T-80 not involved, and the infantry of Joker is more numerous and supported by the BMP-2s, and that's just led to all the infantry dying here. And now Koch's vehicles are without infantry support, are pretty blind, and now they can be picked off by the rest here. So this is getting from bad to worse already for Koch here in the middle. This is looking really, really tough at this stage.
Yeah, it's when you get pushed by 56th Infantry, the DSHs, the big squads, what you want to do if you're inferior with your infantry is try to pull back and have the enemy push far enough that they are away from their own cover and that they are inside your tanks and vehicles weapons range. And right now the BMPs and the T-80s are doing some nice damage, but this was so mismanaged. You can, if you want to look and see if an engagement is going well or if it's badly organized, just look at how many of the units on board are engaging the same unit. This might seem simple, but it is a really good indicator because it means that the players are because it means that the players are singularly microing their units to get into the positions where they can help and not just letting them stand around inefficiently engaging one by one against a more organized foe, which is what seemed to have happened there just now.
Yeah, and the plane investment, yeah, like that's what the Stingers shut down. The Su-24, losing one of them was just a massive loss. Buying a second one is something you just can't afford, and I think those were the points that were lacking on the front line here for an engagement. Like if those 2 planes would have been 4 BMP-2s with infantry in the front line, that engagement would have been looking different. 2 BMP-2s and a T-80B on the front line. When those engagements started, it would have looked very different, and the bombers did just basically nothing at all there. So they didn't pay off at all, and yeah, with those Stinger infantries, you just can never rely on your planes making it out. That's why the SAS, that's why the Stinger's infantries are so OP. That's why they make the openers for those divisions so busted. That's why those 2 divisions are top dogs at the moment, and you just can't invest into planes. You need to play the ground play, and Koch didn't do that, and Koch got punished hard for it, as that just allowed Joker to take way better trades than Koch ever could here. And Koch is basically out of this game at this point, most likely. Like, it's gonna be insanely hard to come back. As the infantry just gonna trade bad time and time again. You can invest in endless BMP-2s now as Joker and just drown the enemy in BMP-2s.
Yeah, and including also the T-62s with that are not the best tanks, but do have the best missiles, the 9 M117s, the AGS armed BTR-70s that deliver the DSH Metis, the Luas Fagos, of course, cheap and 100 kph, can be moved around everywhere. The helicopters, the planes, not to mention the top-tier infantry up here in the front line, and also pretty nice logistic stabs above all. The 56th really does have it all. Everything except a modern MBT, and when has the Russian army needed modern MBTs? Let me tell you. Koch's single. The problem here, if you only have a single tank, and that tank is 0 vet, that tank can be fired upon by weapons that cannot penetrate it and still make it completely combat ineffective, which is what just happened.
Yeah,
Even with
Koch,
the autoloaders
it's a
keeping up the
similar
fire
issue to
rate
game
for
number one. Like when your key
Soviet
units,
tanks, the accuracy is just not enough.
yeah, when your key units come with 0 vet, it's just not gonna work out for you. Like in game number one, we had the infantry as the key unit. Here we have the TADV as a key unit, and that coming at 0 vet just makes 0 sense to me, because those are just such big force multipliers if you can use them in the right spot. But with 0 vet, they just never can be in those spots. And yeah, we saw 3 Su-24s going down, and yeah, those are just points you can't afford to lose. And on the other side, the BMP2, the classic T56 VDV spam here, just going strong. Like, first surprise was seeing 56 getting through pick and ban phase in the first place. Second surprise is just the weird choices of engagement that Koch decided here on, and the weird way of trying to approach the division with 39, playing perfectly into the strengths of that division in my eyes, and it's getting punished massively at this stage.
Yeah, I believe was it the Dark Neutron that a champion of an earlier league season who just stated it out plain that they won the championships with the picks and bans. The picks and bans should not be underestimated, even if you don't know a lot about your opponent. And even though I believe Joker does stream a little bit, certainly not enough to gain like large amounts of information, but anybody that has anything to do with competitive WARNO right now should understand that 56th is immediately needs to be in the ban pile. 56th and 5e divisions like this, there have been times in the game allowed to gain the defensive line early on.
Okay, yeah, and
Yeah,
here we
a
have
single
it.
Spetsnaz crew that killed 3 planes.
GGVP, 2 both players here, Stingers, doing it for, yeah, Spetsnaz GRU Stingers here, killing 4 Su-24s, 3 Su-24s and 1 Kranzer. Like, that shows you how strong this unit can be. That's so many points there just killed off by a single 60-point unit. While it also grabbed a massive land grab there. Like, Spetsnaz GRU are basically imperialists. They're just grabbing land. Like, it's the 18th century again, and just taking the territory and defending it really, really well there. So, yep, 56 is doing exactly what 56 needed to do, and Koch not quite up for the challenge here in the series. Hope we will see Koch recovering in the future matches. Like, both of these games, not quite the playstyle for the divisions, picking somewhat out of, like, not quite meta divisions, like Berliner Gruppierung, even or on the urban front lines, only like a B tier division, and same goes for 39 Fear. So not quite up there, or like maybe A tier, but against the best division in the game. And yeah, 56 is not completely up there, but it's still a 55% win rate division or so. So picking, leaving it open is still a mistake. You just shouldn't do that, even if it's not the complete unmovable object. It's still leaving you in a bad spot. So I have no idea why it got through here. And yep, in the end, Koch losing this one, Joker one step closer to the next round, and we are finished here for today, guys. I did hope for a live match after this, as CHR had planned to get his game going right now, but they had to postpone for tomorrow. So we will leave it at this one, guys, and we will be back with more WARNO League over the next couple of days. So stay tuned for that, and yeah, we're gonna end it here and send you elsewhere. So thanks for watching, everybody. And yeah, thanks for the new follows as well, for everybody coming in. And we're gonna send you over to a guy who's having 50 players, and I've never seen them in WARNO before. Who is Killerbin? Let's figure that out together. Killerbin here, streaming WARNO. Let's have a look into that. See you all around, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye, and have a great day.
Bye-bye.